The next types of attacks that we are looking at are the availability attacks. As you know, that availability attacks mean that you are trying to make the network or make your infrastructure unavailable, or the attacker is trying to make your infrastructure unavailable for genuine users. These are also called denial of service or DOS attacks. One of the common attacks, or this is the list of attacks that are available, that are commonly launched in wireless environments. This is not an exhaustive list. This is not a list of all the possible attacks. There are so many attacks. This is just an example of some of the common attacks that we witness in wireless networks. So Queensland attack, 802.11, beacon flooding, 802.11 association verification flooding, then deauthentication flooding, EAP start flooding. So these are all, most of these are flooding attacks, which indicates that these are denial of service attacks. Whenever you are flooding a lot of traffic, a lot of information or data onto the network, this means that you are trying to generate a denial of service or DOS attack. The first attack that we looked at was called, as you know, Queensland attack. This was discovered by experts at the Queensland University, so that's why it's named as the Queensland attack. This Queensland attack does a very simple thing. In this, what you do is that you block the communication channels, or you constantly send information on the communication channels so that the genuine users cannot use those channels for communication. This means that you're constantly keeping the wireless channels busy, and the users cannot use those channels for genuine or real communication. Probably some of you might be knowing that wireless communication is based on direct sequence spread spectrum technology, which is a type of CSMA-CA, carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance, which means that any station or anyone who wants to use the medium for communication first detects and checks that whether the medium is available or whether anybody else is transmitting the data or not. If nobody is transmitting data, that means that the medium is available. Only then a station or a device will start transmitting. But if an attacker keeps transmitting all the time on all the available channels, then this means that those channels would not be available to the real users for transmitting their data. So this is kind of a DOS attack at the physical layer, which can be launched with some simple tools, and the network would become inaccessible. We'll see later on how we can avoid these attacks or how we can control these attacks in our networks, but these are some of the DOS attacks. So Queensland attack is one of the denial of service attacks, very common and very simple denial of service attack, which can be launched in a network. The next type of attack is the forged packet attack, in which you forge packets or you create fake packets in your environment, in your network, and you pretend to be someone that you are not. It's kind of a spoofing thing, but in this case you pretend to be someone, or you create packets pretending to be a device or an entity which you are not. There are a large number of forged packet attacks that are possible. However, the purpose of any of the forged packet attack would be to either the attacker forges an authorized station, either the attacker would pretend to be a station or an end device like a mobile phone or a laptop, and try to get associated with the access point or with the network, or those packets could be pretending to be an unauthorized access point or a real genuine access point, which they are not, or those packets could be used to compromise the communication that is taking place between the access point and the controller. CAPFAP is the communication protocol which is used between the access point and the controller. This is a standard protocol. We'll look at it in more detail later on during this lecture. This means control and provisioning of wireless access points. So CAPFAP is the protocol that is used between AP and the controller, access controller. So this forging of packets can take place at any of these locations in your wireless infrastructure, either by the client or an attacker pretending to be a client or a station, or an attacker pretending to be or working as an access point, pretending to be an access point that is not authorized, or the attacker trying to steal the traffic or trying to be one of the two entities here, access point and the controller, while they're communicating with each other. So it could forge the packets and pretend to be someone and then steal information from our infrastructure. The next category of attacks that we should be looking at, so the next attack types are the integrity attacks. As you know, in integrity, the purpose is to steal the information and then use that information, or change that information and then use that information for some ulterior purposes or some malicious purposes. Some of the attacks that fall under this category, that is the integrity attacks, are 802.11 frame injection, which means that you are injecting fake frames or you are injecting forged frames, 802.11 frames into the network, or 802.11 data playback, which means that you have stolen or you have picked up certain data frames and then you are modifying those data frames to be a part of the conversation or be a part of the data exchange that is happening between the end stations and the access points, or vice versa in the other direction from the access point to the end station. You could also pick up and play back the EAP packets or EAP authentication packets. EAP stands for Extensible Authentication Protocol, which is used for authenticating the users that are getting connected to the wireless infrastructure. We are going to look at EAP in a little bit more detail later on, but the user could be picking up the EAP packets, modifying them, or using those packets later on to get themselves authenticated with your controller. So this could also, these are also called integrity attacks. Similarly, the 802.1x radius playback attack could also take place, or the attacker could also launch this attack, which means when you are being authenticated by the radius server, the central authentication server in your environment, for example, the Active Directory server or any radius server that communicates with the controller in order to authenticate the users, we could pick up the packets, or the attacker could pick up the packets that are being exchanged with the radius server and then use those packets later on, or replay or play back those packets later on to gain access to your infrastructure or gain access to your network. Finally, the attacks that we saw in the initial slide, the final type of attack were the authentication attacks. Once again, authentication attacks are when you are stealing the identity of someone or pretending to be someone who you are not, and you are trying to gain access to your system. In fact, authentication attacks, the purpose of authentication attacks is to gain access to the system. Once you have gained access to the system, then you could launch other attacks as well. Then you could, the confidentiality of the infrastructure could be compromised, the integrity of your data could be compromised, and you could potentially attack the availability of the infrastructure as well. So it is very important that we protect our network and our infrastructure against the authentication attacks. One of the common authentication attacks that could happen was to attack the shared key or the pre-shared key in any infrastructure. Web generally uses the pre-shared key, and if you have, you can crack the web pre-shared key, or you could crack the key that is being exchanged by different entities, client and the access point or the controller, using web protocol. Then it means that you have access to the key, and now you can use that key to gain access to your infrastructure. So shared key cracking or pre-shared key cracking means more or less the same thing. Shared key is web specific, but PSK term is used for web as well as for WPA, which is a newer form of security protocol in Wi-Fi or wireless infrastructure. Login password theft is simple. When you steal credentials of someone else's username and password, that could once again result in compromise of your security access or your network access and result in information loss or information theft. Domain login cracking, when you are logging into the domain either on Active Directory or through any of the radius servers, you could steal information of users, their domain information, and use that information later on to access the infrastructure either through wireless network or even through wired infrastructure. VPN login tracking users that are accessing the network through VPN, remote access users or remote users. You could also, or the attackers could also crack the login authentication or login credentials of the users accessing your infrastructure through VPNs. And finally, 802.1x identity theft, because generally when you are locally present in an infrastructure, 802.1x is the protocol which is very commonly used for authenticating not only the wireless users but also the wired access users or users connected through the wired infrastructure. So if anyone can gain access or anyone can get access to the 802.1x login authentication credentials, they could use the wired or the wireless infrastructure to gain access to your IT assets. So these were some of the common attacks which could happen, and as you know, these can be divided into 5 categories: the access control attacks, the confidentiality attacks, the integrity attacks, the availability attacks, and finally the authentication attacks.